to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, how are you doing today, man? How are you doing today? We are in the house for a little rap session. How you doing, man? Want to wait for some people come and get into the chat. Thank you so much for coming in, sir. We really appreciate you coming in. Appreciate all the people as they come in. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate you coming in to the show, man. Thank you so much for coming in the show. Anybody else is coming in, we want to make sure that you like and you subscribe. Make sure for all the people who are coming in that follow me and rock with me. I thank you so much for your support. I know a lot of y'all probably have subscribed, hitting that like button, sharing this video is always great. That's a great thing. If you do that, you share the video, hitting that like button is a great thing. If you hadn't subscribed, all the people who are coming in that may be just flipping through channels or the algorithm is putting it in their box. This is Coach Marv. My name is Coach Marv. Real talk. Look at my bio. Someone known in these Cowboy streets out here. Old school guy, coach's point of view. Football player point of view. Gonna give it to you real. Gonna talk about some things that are real. When I pride myself on talking about stuff that's talked about behind the scenes, not the stuff that a lot of media people like to talk about. Talk about some of the things that win games, as well as not only I try to give that and trying to pour my wisdom of the things that I've learned and things that I was taught and things that I was given to other people, not only with football, and I say football and sports is a microcosm of life. And a lot of people don't understand some of the same philosophy, a lot of the same philosophy we use to accomplish the problems and to be productive in this society. It's the same thing when you put in the greatest team sport together that in sports. This is what makes this such a great sport, because of the greatness of the team sport part of it. That's why I love football so much, because it's the biggest, greatest team sport in sports. And when you have that amount of moving parts, it's just almost like in this world when you have moving parts of trying to do things with people in life, man. So it's a lot of moving parts. So we want to come in today and we want to talk about some of the news and notes that's going on. I want to talk about some of the stuff that I posted on Twitter lately. If you're not following me on X, it's Coach Marv 1914. Please follow me on that social media platform, as well as send out. I'm on Coach Marv Real Talk. I got a Facebook channel called Coach Marv Real Talk. Please send me a message there. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Marv 1914 as well. Follow me on all the social media accounts, as well as my channel here of Coach Marv Real Talk. Please subscribe. I'm a little less than 30 subscribers away from getting to that ultimate 1,000 mark. Probably hadn't been as dedicated to this thing as I should. Sometimes I'm not gonna get a lot of subscribers because I'm learning how to put more stuff to flash to my shows. Everything that you see on my shows, I'm not a technical person at all. I'm not a computer person at all. But everything you see on my shows is something I messed around and built. Even from the intro, I had somebody give me the overlay with the intro, putting that intro to the thing you see, the little boy with the Coach Marv thing, for the setup with the camera, the even the fat head, even all of this crazy stuff that it may not be is the greatest production. This is what I put together, and I'm getting better and better. Looking for producers to come in to try to help me get better and better. But I'm proud of myself. I mean, it's a lot that I got to go through, a lot that I got to get to. Like I said, I'm working on a little studio so I can try to get a background thing and get some other things. But a lot of this stuff is expensive, man. I looked at another camera today, at a 4K camera. It's not as much as a web camera, but getting a camera and getting some better lighting so I, can get a little bit better picture. Getting some more computer equipment, some things so I can get some sound effects going on. All those things I'm looking into trying to get there. So if you want to support the channel, right here in your left hand corner, I believe, as you watch it, right underneath the Coach Marv symbol, that's my Cash App. That's how you can support the channel. If you send a Cash App, anyway, 5, 1, 2, 10, 50, whatever you would feel in your heart to try to keep the channel going and support the channel, because I'm planning on getting some great content doing this all season, going into this regular season and into this season for us to win 6. And we're going to go 6 because we're going to do the foundational pieces. We're going to put the foundational pieces to get together to get to 6. Now, in my shows, people who've been following me, they're going to say, well, Coach Marv keeps repeating the same things. He go over the same things. Well, as I always said, everything is cumulative. When you're trying to build a franchise, you're trying to build a team, you're trying to build a culture, you're trying to change the culture of our fan base. That's what I'm trying to talk to. I'm trying to change that culture of our fan base to get back to the culture of fan base that we had when we were winning. That has made us one of the most dominant programs in the NFL franchises in the NFL, even in our 30-year drought. We still one of the most dominant franchises, but it did not get there with the Hollywood nature that we have as a fan base now. It got there because we were Hollywood, but we was the grinders. We were the most physical team. We were harder than everybody else. Yes, we played hard. And when I mean played hard, we played hard offside the court. When we was in the 70s, all our players had them little TV shows, some little talk shows. Yes, all the players had those. We were well known. We still was in the spotlight. We had characters on the team like Hollywood Henderson, Harvey Martin, guys that was very flamboyant. But one thing about it, Tom Landry worked us hard, and we played a disciplined, physical football game, and we were built to punish you on the football field. And then we went off, and then down in the 90s, we came out. Yes, we had the White House. They had all kind of stuff going on. Michael Irvin was doing this. We had guys, speeding and whatever. All that was crazy. But one thing about it, when it came inside those white lines in at that time Valley Ranch, there was a no nonsense type of atmosphere. Jimmy didn't have no type of no nonsense atmosphere. He was a replica of Tom Landry. He had no nonsense. It was about being physical, about being disciplined on the field, and about being smart and playing hard in competition, putting guys out there, and he worked them hard. So when people came at us with our flash and dash, when people approached us, we were dominant. And that's the Cowboy nature. That's the Cowboy DNA. And a lot of our fan base who's came on in the last 30 years that have come on to be Cowboy fans, they don't understand our Cowboy DNA. And they need to go back. I always say, I used to do posts stuff like that, Bully Joe Dupree, Tony Hill, and I got all this from Logic Cowboy. I think his name was Logic Cowboy. He is a great, he does a lot of great videos. He does very good videos about breaking down stuff in the Dallas Cowboy history. And I say that to the newfound Cowboy fan. If you became a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years or last 40 years, I'd say 35 years, last 30 years, I say that because you need to know the history of your Cowboys. If you find out the history of your Cowboys, you'll understand we have always had contract problems. The Cowboys have always had a hard time paying their superstars. don't believe even that this ain't just a Jerry Jones thing. Dwayne Thomas, the first great running back we had that was dominant in the Super Bowl when we won our first Super Bowl, number 32, no, number 33 at that time. He was the first 33. Dwayne Thomas was a very good running back. He played the year that we won the Super Bowl. If this is a Cowboy history note, the year we won the Super Bowl, he played that year and he didn't speak to the media at all because the Cowboys had traded him because he won the contract, and then the trade fell through, and he had to come back to the Cowboys and play that year. And they were not going to give him his money that he deserved on his contract, and he didn't even talk to no media the whole year. But he should have been the MVP in the Super Bowl they won. Yeah, Dwayne Thomas. Look him up. Now, he was the first 33. He was the 33 for the Cowboys when they won their first Super Bowl. Great running back. So we have never won a Super Bowl without having great running backs during that year. Because the next time we won a Super Bowl, we had a great guy named Tony Dorsett, who was a rookie. I think Tony Dorsett won the Super Bowl. We won a Super Bowl in either Tony Dorsett's first or second year. He wasn't that long before we won the Super Bowl. We were a good team, but we needed Tony Dorsett to put us over the top. And we had a guy named Robin Newhouse that was an ultimate fullback at that time. Then you go 20 years later from the 70s team, right? And we have a dominating defense in the doomsday defense. That in a Super Bowl 77, I think we got 7 turnovers against the Denver Broncos. 2 of our players won the MVP of the Super Bowl. Harvey Martin had some of the greatest years for a 4-year period of time than any lineman in the history of the NFL. Matter of fact, he won Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and co-defensive MVP of the Super Bowl. He had years we had almost 20 sacks in a 14-game season when they wasn't throwing the ball as much. Him and Randy White, Too Tall Jones, they were dominant. Michael Downs, Cliff Waters, Cliff Harris, 2 great safeties. Barnes, Elson Walls, had great safeties, great linebackers. Hollywood Henderson. Dominant football. Billy Joe Dupree. A guy named Preston Pearson was Mr. Third Down Clutch, number 26. Go look up your Cowboys. You will see that there's a lot of Cowboys that should be in the Hall of Fame right now that has extensive resumes, other than Darren Woodson, that's not in the Hall of Fame. And then 20 years later, if you watch the makeup of the team that was in the 70s that won, and you go 20 years later to the 90s, the teams were made the exact same way. That's why I tell you now, that's our DNA. And our DNA is who we are. And this makes no difference if 2026 or 1993 or 94 or 1977. One thing about football, it hadn't changed. Same football is the same size. Still guys go touchdown, still get 6 points. Extra points still get a point. Defense still play. It's still a physical sport. Football hasn't changed. Now there's some makeup and this and that, but our DNA. We had Roger Staubach. Wasn't an ultimate passer. Didn't have the passing stats as at that time as Dan Fouts and Fran Tarkenton. Those guys had more passing stats, but he was still great at his passing stats. But he had a great running attack, and he had a great defense. Troy Aikman in the 90s, 20 years later, exact same makeup. Didn't throw the ball more than Dan Marino. Didn't throw the ball more than DeJohn Elway, but was still more efficient. Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, Robin Newhouse, Darrell Johnson, Charles Haley, Harvey Martin, Tony Tolbert, a long, lanky guy, Too Tall Jones, Leon Lett, Randy White. Great offensive line. You had Herb Scott, Richard Wright. You had Tom Rafferty. Back in the 70s, you had uh 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 your center from I failed that you had Nate Newton, you had Eric Williams. Great defense. Charlie Waters, Cliff Harris, Darren Woodson, James Washington, Deion Sanders, Kevin Smith, Michael Downs, Everson Walls. The exact and you when you look at these players, they played a lot just like the team that was in the 70s. They made the exact same team in the 90s. The first Super Bowl they won, Dallas Cowboys in 2 Super Bowls. In the 77 Super Bowl, I think they turned the Denver Broncos, it was 7 times, the Orange Crush. In 91, when they played the Buffalo Bills, I think the Cowboys got 8 turnovers. And when people tell me that, man, it's different, well, you have the same type of makeup. And you're close to having that same type of makeup now. You're close to that DNA. But we're going to run away from the DNA because we want to do it a conventional. You know how many people have lost money in Las Vegas betting against the odds? You could bet with the odds and win less money, but you still can win money. And then from time to time, bet against the odds and win more. But most people say, I'm going to bet against the odds all the time because it's a big lick. But most times they lose. But when you have a DNA of a franchise and you run away from it, why? I always say this, man. I look at the Seattle Seahawks, and I've said this on a show before. The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl this year, right? They went back to their DNA when they won their first 2 Super Bowls. When they won their first Super Bowl. And it was the same DNA with every time they played in the Super Bowl. It's no different what coach they had. It was the exact same DNA every year the Seattle Seahawks played in the Super Bowl. Do y'all remember the first time they went to the Super Bowl with Mike Holmgren? I can't even remember the quarterback it was. But I remember they had Derek Alexander. Now, what's the Alexander guy that flew out of Alabama? Running the football, and he had 1,500 yards. He was the running back, and they had a very good defense. And the quarterback was mediocre. They went to the Super Bowl, and they lost the Super Bowl to Pittsburgh. But that's how they got to the Super Bowl. Defense, running game, timely quarterback. Not no great quarterback. Russell Wilson, when they went to the Super Bowl, he was not the quintessential great quarterback. He was just like with Tom Brady when Tom Brady went to his first Super Bowl. A guy coming in on his own. If you want to say game manager, call him a game manager. Wasn't a guy that was dominant at that time. But Russell Wilson got to the Super Bowl with a strong defense, a great running game, and timely passing. No big-time wide receivers. I can't remember no big-time wide receivers with Seattle on the first time they went to. Sean Alexander. I can't remember. Do you remember any great running receivers they had that year when they went to the Super Bowl? No. They had a great defense. And the defense didn't have so many stars, but they had a great defense. Who was the quarterback? I don't even remember who the quarterback was. It's hard for y'all to remember who the quarterback was. He wasn't no great quarterback. But they got to the Super Bowl. They lost to Pittsburgh. Then when they got to the Super Bowl again, they got away from their DNA. for many years after Mike Holmgren left. Then came in Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll said, okay, let me go to the DNA that got this franchise to the Super Bowl. He built a defense. He got a great running attack with beast mode. No, it wasn't Trent Dilfer. What Trent Dilfer? Trent Dilfer wasn't the quarterback. That's Trent Dilfer I'm talking about. Played for Seattle. Look it up. I can't remember. Y'all, if you call his name, I know the name you call him. But it wasn't Trent Dilfer. See, this is crazy about it. They got the Super Bowl. We don't even remember the quarterback. And they got to the Super Bowl. And then Pete Carroll came in and took a rookie quarterback, a second-year quarterback that he drafted in the third round in a Russell Wilson, and got Russell there and made Russell had a great arm. They were timely passing. He built the defense. He had a beast mode running attack. The quarterback can make good plays. They took that DNA and went to the Super Bowl and won it. They took that same DNA and got back to the Super Bowl again and got down to the last damn drive and decided to go away from their DNA. You know what it reminds me of? They got down, they was up in the casino. They're about to win the pot in the casino if they just continue to play like they've been playing. And somebody say, bet it all on another number because the odds are better for this number, and we bet it all, and they lost. And then after that, Matt got the back. That's right. We know he wasn't no great quarterback, but their DNA was a decent quarterback, running the ball. That's what they did. That was their DNA of their team, of their organization. Pete Carroll come back. He goes back to the DNA of the team. They get to a Super Bowl again. This time they win it. They get back to another Super Bowl. They're supposed to win it, and then all of a sudden, after they went back to that Super Bowl, they Russell Wilson. Then somebody started pushing the thing and saying, "Let Russell cook." Y'all remember that? And then when they started letting Russell cook, they started drafting defense. They got away from defense. They went away to try to Russell cook. Russell throw the ball. Russell cook. Put the ball in Russell's hand. Do this. Didn't say Russell didn't play well, but they got away from their DNA. And when they got away from their DNA, they struggled. Till it got Pete Carroll what? Fired. Then they get the other coach come in. And what does he do? He goes back in the values of the Seattle DNA. He said, whatever coach had this DNA in this place has won a Super Bowl. He went and built the defense up. He went and got 2 good running backs. He got a quarterback that was just okay. Never with it. Same as Matt Hasselbeck. He had a good wide receiver. He didn't even worry about it. We don't even know who the second wide receiver is. They run the ball. They make quick, timely passes, throw the ball to the tight end, dominate on defense. The DNA of the Seattle Seahawks, they get back to the Super Bowl, and they win a Super Bowl. The Seahawks DNA. And when I tell you the Dallas Cowboy DNA, we got a fan base that say, no, they ain't no, we're going to do this. Just coaches, man, different times, man. That's old school. Seattle took the same DNA and they got the Super Bowl 3 times. With 3 different coaches. Anybody want to dispute that? Come on, let's talk about it. The exact same DNA. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, go back to the 60s when Kansas City won the Super Bowl back then. Look at their offense and how innovative their offense was. Look at their defense and how their offense was innovative, but their defense was top notch, and they didn't get a lot of credit. but they was innovative with their offense. Look at them now. Pittsburgh Steelers, for Pittsburgh fans, has never won a Super Bowl without having a top 1 or 3 defense, a top 3 defense. Most times they won when they have top number 1 defense. I think they won it one time with a top 3 defense. 2 times they won with a top 3 defense. I think the rest of the time they won with number 1 defense. And a good running game. I don't care how Ben Roethlisberger had Antonio Brown throwing the ball all around, had receivers galore, putting up record numbers. If they didn't have a great defense and they didn't have a quality running game, they didn't win no Super Bowl. You can talk about the year that they won the Super Bowl and Roethlisberger threw that touchdown against the Cardinals. The defense was dominating. The defense scored a touchdown, took away a touchdown, and scored a touchdown. And I think they had fans Willie Parker back then. And Bettis. And there was a number 3 defense, a number 2, 3 defense in the league. That's Pittsburgh's DNA. Your DNA does not leave, baby. More or less, teams are got a DNA as a organization. Organizational DNA. And it's this thing that made them successful. It's not that in real business. Real business, mega businesses has a blueprint of how they got to be successful. And they may branch off in a whole lot of different areas. They may get all kind of stuff, all do a lot of other stuff. They might do all of it. But the basic philosophy of how they became on top, they always get back to their core values. Because that's what they're built off of. And when you get into your light, good things happen for you. When you fight your light, you find the struggle. Most of us, I talked to a homeboy of mine the other day. And his dad was a big time mechanic. And he used to do work on cars all his life. When he picked it up naturally. But he always said he wasn't gonna be no mechanic. He always said, man, I ain't working on no cars. He fought that tooth and nail for most of his life. Till he got to almost 35, 40 years old. Now, he was doing stuff on the side, and everybody kept saying, man, you could be the man. No. He tried to do all these other things. He tried to come up with this, try to sell insurance, try to do this, all this other stuff. He tried to do all this stuff. And it's a struggle. It's always a struggle. Till he finally succumbed to what his DNA was. Now he one of the biggest guys. You know why? Because it was easy, because that's his light. The work gets easy that way. And if I tell you, if the Cowboys put all emphasis on defense and not just running out and grabbing a guy, we need total defense. I didn't say we got to be 3 yards in the count up, but we got to be committed to being physical and running the ball and making big strikes with the receivers, but not trying to have our receivers both of them have 15, 1,600 yards and say that we're going to go, everything going to go through the passing game. That's not our DNA. And we may look good at that, but the chances of failing is high if the history of the Cowboys said that you do this one way in 2 or 3 decades, why would you try to change it? When it's right there in your grasp. Every quarterback you got, and every time we have had a solid running game, our quarterbacks has almost won an MVP. Our receivers never suffered. They never suffered. They still made Hall of Fames. We still had #1 offenses. And we won a lot of games. But every year we come off that thing saying, no, let's go do it this way. I never understood how we do that. But this is our DNA. And it pains me when I hear when we got a fan base that feels that, one, we need to go get more receivers. Two, that we're gonna have 2 receivers with 15, 1,600 yards. What offense we gonna need? What fast-paced offense we gonna need that we gonna get 16, 1,700 yards at for 2 wide receivers? Yeah, we might do that if we got no defense. We might need that. And we still gonna come up maybe 8 and 9, 10 and 7 out first round. We'll have all pro wide receivers. Your quarterback ain't gonna be all pro because he's not getting judged anymore about passing stats. That's why I want Dak Prescott to understand. That's why I want CeeDee Lamb to understand. I really want Pickens to understand that. His value is going to be more if he's on a championship team and do less. Devontae Smith for the Eagles has had less numbers in the last 2 years than he had 3 years ago. And people are talking more about him now, 2 years with the less numbers than they talked about when he had the more numbers. Why? Because those less numbers got him a Super Bowl. Sacrifice. I ain't talking about people sacrificing their money. I understand y'all gonna come off of that. I know somebody's gonna say, well, Coach, you tell me to sacrifice. Listen, man, you as a fan, unless your name is Pickens and you in the Pickens family, or you in Pickens is your boyfriend, or Pickens is your boyfriend, and you're a woman. If Pickens is your cousin, your brother, or he is your nephew, I can understand you saying, hey, man, but if you're a Cowboy fan, yes, you want a man to be treated fairly. That's fine. That's business. But you want to win a Super Bowl because that's your rooting interest. And anybody, any distraction that's holding up, you could do better without the distraction. And I'm not saying Pickens is doing no distraction. I ain't saying Pickens is a bad person. I'm not saying Pickens is going to cause distraction. But it is a distraction. We're better off without it. Because you got too much talent on this team to cry about to say, oh, man, we don't have Pickens. We can't. Listen, man. But we can't do it the wrong way. When I go to my Twitter post here, we're going to talk about defense. Caleb Downs. Our fan base is just past thinking. We got some fan base that's already locking Caleb Downs into just a slot corner. Yes, pass defense is important, but it's not essential. Yes, we want Caleb Downs to cover the slot sometimes. Yes, the Thompson. That's why we picked him up, because he can guard the slot sometimes. But let's understand something about safeties. And I wish I hadn't talked to my friend, my great friend, Boss Cowboy, because he's a defensive back. He may not agree with me everything, but he can agree with me on this. If you are a safety and you could cover so damn good like a top-notch corner or a slot corner, guess where you would have been at? You would have been a slot cornerback or a cornerback. But if you could do it pretty well, and you can do it at times, and we can put you in coverages that you're going to be good at, and you can do it pretty well, and it can help us match up without switching our personnel. Don't let a D team catch you, and they know that you're going to do it all the time, because eventually they're going to see why you come in and you play safety. But the versatility of them not knowing when you're going to do it, and you putting yourself in the best situation to cover somebody, that's advantage defense because you got that ability. You're a safety that has good cover skills. That's what we call those guys. But you know why? We just got this past mentality. But physicality is what's going to win us the Super Bowl. I said in the last show, and look it up, man. Winning the NFC East is the most important thing to me. At first. That's my first goal. That should be your first goal. Because we're in the best division when it comes to Super Bowl victories than any other division in football. The NFC East. 5, 4, 3, 2. No other division got like that. That to me, that's 9, 12, 14 titles. I don't know how many NFC championship games. We got a lot of championship games we played each other. We're the dominant team. AFC and NFC. We are the dominant conference in Super Bowl victories. And we're the head of that conference. And if you look at the history of our conference, the team that had the best defense and the most quality running game in that season has usually won the division. That's facts, Jack. You're not gonna win that division if I'm not gonna say that you're not going to. The likelihood of you winning that division with the best passing attack and not the best defense and the most quality running game, it's good. But the odds of that happening is very low, but its odds of doing it the other way is very high. But you know, some of y'all will go with the odds is very low because y'all say it can happen. Y'all will find out the season when it happened, and you will point out 1, 2 seasons out of 30 and say, and this I know little people say that. Well, coach, but you said it can't happen. I ain't saying it can't happen. But if you give me 2 out of 30, and I got 13 others the other way, what should I take? Oh, I should take catching the lightning in the bottle again? Okay. And that product for winning the division goes back to the DNA it is for us to win Super Bowls. Because we had never been in a championship game or NFC championship game without having the top 10 defense and a top 3 running attack. Until we get to that point, guess what? We still, if you want to get to the NFC championship game, do that. listen, I ain't saying it will, but I like our chances. Because that's our DNA. And listen, know your history, fans. If you know your history, you'll know what you need, what's your DNA. We're in a time right now that us as a people, if you're African American, you listen to my show. And if you any other race and you listen to my show, we're in a time and day right now today. If we knew our history as a country, we see that the road we are going down right now. We have been down this road before, and it didn't turn out good. And America was not great when we went down the same road many years ago. It's not make America great again. We need to make America great. That's what work. That's the same thing I'm saying about the Cowboys. We got to put the work in to be that great team. But I see people ask the question. They ask the Joneses the question. They ask the players the question. They ask guys, Caleb Downs and these rookies about the Cowboys' 30-year drought. That 30-year drought got nothing to do with these players. The weight of that ain't got nothing to do with these players. You as a fan, when they come at you about, well, y'all ain't done that in 30 years. That ain't got nothing to do. That's 30 years of teams. We could talk about this year. So if you're going to talk about 30 years, let's talk about the last 70 years. Let's add 40 more to it. And in those 40 years, where we hadn't been around as long as Pittsburgh, we hadn't been around as long as Philadelphia, we hadn't been around as long as the Giants or the Washington team. And we still got more Super Bowls. And we still got more Super Bowl appearances. If you want to talk about 30 years, let's talk about the history then. But you want to cut it off. We still got more playoff victories. But those years of playoff victories, Super Bowls, they don't go at this team either. They don't get no credit for being on an organization doing that, and they don't get no minuses for the last 30 years. If you want to ask Dak Prescott something, you can say Dak Prescott in the last 10 years. If these rookie players, you can't even ask these rookie players about the 30-year drought. They just got here. They don't have nothing to do with that. Then when we go from the point of asking players about 30-year drought, then the next thing is we allow media to start pitting guys against each other, and we hadn't even got on the field yet. We got people out here talking about going and get defensive ends. And listen, man, if you drafted a guy and you watched him yourself show you great signs, and if you're a coach, just because a guy that hadn't shown it on the field, you could see the button of a flower. It ain't bloomed yet, But you're going to cut the blooming off to go get another guy and pay him big money. And that guy that you getting, when you talking about getting a sweat, that guy you got, he had to have opportunity to become sweat. And he might have been the same guy that you got in Izaraku. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. The most forced turnovers in the Super Bowl history. So what did that tell you? You know what that tells you, sir? And you can put this in the chat. Just like you said, defensive dominance. You know what you can put in the chat? Defense is the Cowboys DNA. Their DNA, baby. They have had great offenses, the triplets. They had a triplets back in the 70s. Starback, Pearson, Drew Pearson, Tony Dorsett. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty, just like Jimmy Johnson said, when he the first Super Bowl, when you go the sounds of the game or the game, whatever the game where they talking about, they do the interviews record, and Jimmy said in the first Super Bowl, he told the guys that he gonna let them introduce the offense at the game, but he said, y'all know in this room, the defense had no Pro Bowl the first year we won the Super Bowl. Do y'all know that? They had no Pro Bowlers. And they were the #1 defense in the NFL. Did y'all know that? And they got 8 turnovers in the Super Bowl. Not Michael Irvin dominated, not Emmitt Smith, not the offensive line. They did their job. But the #1 defense, with all those triplets, them guys y'all talk about, and I'm not saying they didn't do a great job, but these guys had no Pro Bowlers and was the #1 defense in the NFL and turned over the #1 offense in football, the Buffalo Bills, and dominated them defensively. When we won the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1995, the offense was leaking oil. The defense had to save the day. That's our DNA. Every time we have had a big game, it's been our defense that dragged us out of it. You can ask the question, because go look at it. When we played the Denver Broncos, we dominated them defense. I don't even think Roger Staubach even threw a touchdown that game. The only touchdown we got thrown in that game, Robert Newhouse did it on a flea flicker. And if you go back into history, you didn't pay Dwayne Thompson. You go back into history, Drew Pearson to tell you he had a hard time getting his money. True Charles Jones left football for a whole year because he wouldn't get his money. This ain't just a Jerry Jones thing. This is a Texas DNA problem. This is what the owners of the Dallas Cowboys, these Texas guys, this is what they do. This ain't just came from Jerry Jones. Know your Cowboys history, you'll see that this ain't just start with Jerry Jones. This chat with Tex Stram them. Randy White, Bob Lilly never had to wait on their money. You right? Harvey Martin had to fight to get his. And he was just an MVP of the league. I ain't lying. Know your Cowboys history, and you will know what you're seeing. That's the exact same thing I say about this days and time. If we know our history, we will see the tricks before they even get started. But we turn a blind eye to history because know what we say? Just like a lot of people saying about Coach Marv. Oh, that's just old school. That's that old school stuff. That man, see that man, they go that old school. He just want to run the ball, cloud and dust. Man, this new man, they put the ball in the air. That's just that old stuff. And guess what? We get tricked, hoodwinked, run amok, lied to, brainwashed. That's how we get. That's how we get. This is the truth. Know your DNA. Billy Joe Dupree should be in the Hall of Fame. Go look up the history of Billy Joe Dupree and how great he was and how great of an athlete he was. But they talk about Doug Cosby. They talk about Jason Witten. Billy Joe Dupree was the best tight end they had in Dallas. And that's including uh, the Hall of Famer coach, Mike Dicker. Go look up Billy Joe Dupree. Go to Logic Cowboy. Go into Logic Cowboy on YouTube. Put in a story about Billy Joe Dupree and when you go to his channel. Matter of fact, I may repost it on my Twitter account. Go and see Billy Joe Dupree and see how he was before his time. You talking about speed, catching the ability, touchdowns. Go check him out. We didn't want to play Preston Pearson, Mr. Clutch. Go look at how he was dominant. We got him in a trade from Pittsburgh. We got Preston Pearson in a trade from Pittsburgh. Now, let me tell you how ironic. When I say DNA, let me tell you how ironic. I want y'all to listen to me. And if you don't subscribe when I say this, y'all gonna say, man, Coach Marv just came up with a gem. And nobody see the irony and the similes in this. We traded to get Preston Pearson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Preston Pearson turned out to be the best third down clutch, number 26 for the Cowboys, one of the best third down receivers in the history of the Cowboys. Matter of fact, he was probably one of the most important people in our run to win those two championships, a championship in the 70s. Okay? We made a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 90s to get Thomas Everett. Do y'all remember Thomas Everett, the safety? This before Dan Woodson started. Thomas Everett started with James Washington, and Dan Woodson came. We had three safeties, but Thomas Everett was a starting safety. Thomas Everett got an interception, I think, in the Super Bowl. Thomas Everett was the physical presence. He came back and solidified our safety position with James Washington, and we won a Super Bowl with Thomas Everett. Don't you know we just went back to the Pittsburgh Steelers and made a trade to get George Pickens? It's ironic, man. Listen here. We're sitting, and I'm not saying George Pickens is going to be the lead receiver, but his part. We didn't bring Everett to be the leader. We didn't bring Preston Pearson to be the leader, but do their part. We didn't bring Pickens in here to be the leading wide receiver. We brought him to be a weapon, to do his part at the true slot, true receiver, and give us that spark. But y'all want to make him the overall guy. Listen, man, we sitting on a powder keg of a makeup of a team that can win a Super Bowl. If we do it the right damn way and work towards our DNA. We fall in our light, it's going to be easy work. It's going to be easy work. And we're going to leave no doubt. Every time we won a Super Bowl, we have had dominating safeties. Dominating safety play. Check your history. Some people think James Washington should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Because his plays turned the Super Bowl around 2 years in a row. And I ain't just talking about James Washington because he's my frat brother. He's a Blue Fire guy. Same thing as Emmitt Smith. Both of them were singers. But the truth is in the pudding. So I'm not telling you nothing that y'all should know. Go back and check your history, Kyle. Know your history. If you're a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years, go back and watch. Go back and look at the linemen that played for the Cowboys, and I guarantee you're going to see similarities. You don't need no two more. You got linebackers. We looking for names. But how names got made? When the Cowboys drafted Darren Woodson, Darren Smith, and James Edwards, nobody thought listen here, nobody was talking about Ken Norton Jr. when he came out. He was the third or fourth round draft pick. Everybody said Darren Smith was too small. Mike Hageman was the other linebacker. We won a Super Bowl with those guys. Those guys made their names. Nobody thought Leon Lett was going to be a dominating guy. They picked him off a basketball court. But you see coaches that see talent, they put the talent out there and they mold it. And they say, let it ride. Nobody thought Eric Williams would be a good lineman. That's why he went in the third, fourth round, because he came out of Central State. If we draft a guy out of Central State now, that might be dumb. Know what y'all gonna say? No, man, we need to go get somebody else. We need to go get some other. We need to go get somebody. We need to go get a name guy. I guarantee you, nobody thought about the Seattle Seahawks and their personnel. But they rise their level. Nobody talked about the New England Patriot personnel. That was basically the same personnel. That's right. Yes, bro. That's right. Go Marv, brother. I don't know why you didn't see my bracelet the whole time I've been on for this show for the longest, right? But go back, man. Nobody talked about the Patriots and their talent. But guys rise their thing. If you got talent, names are going to be made. And I don't see nobody in our locker room. I don't see nobody that's talentless. I see guys that's budding for potential, and I see we got some veterans in middle in between there. Yes, when you say Overshown when I say Overshown is a veteran, damn right. If you don't been playing more than 3 years in the NFL, you've been in the NFL 3 years, you're no longer a rookie no more. You are a veteran. I hear people talking about guys being in 3 years, and then we talk about we need to go get a veteran. Well, what the hell has these guys been playing 3 years for? You got a receiver that here been here 2-3 years, and then you tell me you're a veteran. Guys that been in the NFL 3 years, they are veterans. Let's just put the word together, fellas. Let's just put the word together. I got a guy that said, I got a frat brother of mine right here that just said he said he just subscribed when he said the Blue Five. You said it all. Yes, sir, brother. You should have been subscribed to me, brother. So listen, man. Thank you, man. Listen, I've been a Sigma since for 30 some years, man. 91. Yeah. Fall 91, Norfolk State University. Norfolk State University. Matter of fact, if you're a Sigma, and if you're a Sigma, you know the past presidents of the Sigmas. Mr. Jonathan Mason used to be a president for 2 terms. And that's a brother that he was the best man in my wedding. One of the best men in my wedding. I was one of the best men in his wedding when he got married. Matter of fact, I brought him into the chapel. I brought him into Sigma Hood. And he did exactly what he said. He was a moving and shaker. He told us in his interest meeting that he was going to be the child president chapter, and he was going to be president of Phi Beta Sigma. He did exactly what he said he would do. One of my good friends, not just a brother of mine, but he's a good friend of mine. That's my brother. Not just a Sigma brother. That's my brother. My brothers from Norfolk State, that's the ones I really, really bond with. I bond with my Sigma brothers, but those are guys I bond with. We call it, we DZ chapter, Daily Delta Zeta chapter in Norfolk State University, DZ NBA. And that's what we call it, DZ NBA. And I ain't gonna go into what NBA stand, but that's our little good thing. DZ NBA. So yeah, sometimes my brothers follow me. I hope they see me on there, they give me a shout out. But yes. But yeah, you're from that. So yeah, I know a lot of guys. I know a brother, one of the brothers from California, Mr. Sean Moore, he's a brother that pledged me into Phi Beta Sigma. Mr. Sean Moore in Phi Beta Sigma, he pledged me in Phi Beta Sigma. He was the principal at Crenshaw High School for 3 or 4 years. He just retired and moved back to Georgia. But Mr. Sean Moore was the principal of Crenshaw High School, and he is a brother. Oh, Rashard Gray is a brother too. Oh, shucks. I'm telling you, man, good vibes. I knew somebody liked about Rashard Gray. And I said something about Rashard Gray before we even picked him up. When I found out that he was being free, yeah, Jim Jeffco was a great Cowboy. Yeah, so we're going to get to some of y'all comments. Keep these comments going, man, but I want to touch on that post record. Let me go and pull up my Twitter thing, because I want to speak on a couple of things, because we got some people that did some that really came in, and when I put some on Twitter, folks, they came out and y'all did a great job of talking about my I see some people out here share. See my people out here, I love these people, man. They're sharing my information. They're always coming in. They're talking. They're sharing. When you share this, people, when you see my videos and you share them, put a comment. When you go to share with a quote, tell them why you rock with Coach Marv. Tell them why you rock with Coach Marv. If it's saying Coach Marv give us this way, he's honest about this, or he's talking about this. Give the people, when they see your repost, what your feelings are about Coach Marv. Sometimes we just say, hey, Coach Marv, this be rocking, right? But some of the Twitter things I put out there, I put a post out there. Let me show you the post I put out there because some people love the post, right? And then we got some stuff that people gave some picks about, right? Some they said some stuff about it, right? So first of all, I put out a post about the running back situation. I saw an article, and I had said something about this on the show, previous show, because I heard a rumor, not even the Cowboys, but I heard a rumor a couple of days, about a week ago, that the Arizona Cardinals may be ready to get rid of James Conner because they drafted the running back, and James didn't run too much last year for them because he had an ankle injury. And then I knew James Conner is a good back. And James Conner's a good back, and I like James Conner because I liked him when he played in Pittsburgh. I thought he was a very tough back, and he understands the things of sacrifice. He is a team player by all means, and he does the little things of pass blocking. And he's been in James in Coach Adams, the coach Clayton Adams system, and we know what Clayton Adams system is. A running back that can run multiple zone, power, all types of ways, because that running attack runs a multiple different types of styles of running game. And James Conner fits that. Now, if James Conner as a backup running back that can, and what I said what we need about backup running backs, I said this. We need a running back too, but we need two twos that if they have to move into one, that we don't lose the physicality and the running game that we're gotten because our running back number one gets hurt. I don't want to see Adams Williams get hurt or nicked up, and then we go strictly to pass and forget about the running game because we say, well, our running back hurt. And the guys we got playing number two, we don't want to give them that load. If that's the way you're going to handle it, I'd rather you see you get another guy that can handle that load, and you can continue to function your offense. Will you be as good with Williams as you were, but you still have to function in a physical type of role. So when I saw this article, I said, if these young running backs, see what I said right there? If some people took that I said that they're gone. I say, if these young running backs don't work in training camp, Cowboys, I said the Cowboys will. I feel that the James Conner's out there, they will. This is why the Cowboys has not went out and signed a Nick Chubb. I understand people like Nick Chubb, but at this particular point, this is the game I say you got to play when it's come down to it's a lot of chess playing when you're talking about making a football roster. You can't go overextend yourself too early. You have to hold back a little bit, leave some roster spots, even though you got them filled, but you still know you got some players you can let go and you can snatch up guys. There are going to be some guys that's going to be available that may be a little bit bigger, better, that you don't know because they're going to fall in between the cracks of other teams. You may have whispers or rumors where teams are going to let another player go because they trying to move in another direction. You may have your eyes on them. That back end of the roster right now, you try to fill your 90-man roster, but you can't go out and give guaranteed money away right now with veterans where you can move someplace else. Younger players, you can probably hire them on the practice squad, or you make them let them go and pick them back up. But veterans right now, you kind of wait to see what real veterans is out there. There might be a better player than Nick Chubb. And I think Nick Chubb has had his time, but I think Nick Chubb is what he is. And this is not being cheap. You don't overspend for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is what he is. And I think a lot of what we think about Nick Chubb is off reputation. And here we go again. There was a name. Everybody has to make names. When we got Williams last year, did any of y'all think Williams going to run for 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns? I'll wait. No. But now we come back to another guy, we start looking crazy. Yes, Marv is there, and I like Marv. But this is what I'm saying about these young guys, right? And what I say about young players, I said, these guys, I'm going to give them an opportunity. But if y'all listen to my show earlier, 2 or 3 days ago, I said this about our young running backs. I'm not taking you not lining up in the right spot. I'm not taking you not knowing the offense. This is the same damn offense. I'm not taking that you don't know, you not come out and busting practices and doing the drills at top notch, because these are the same drills, same running back coach. Offense ain't changed. You ain't got no change. I'm not coming out there where we got to give you a pep talk. I'm not taking that you come out and you don't know your blocking assignments. I'm not coming out if you don't know. I want you to get better at everything, but I'm not taking no mental lapses, because this is year 2. Martha, Blue, Davis, Williams, y'all been in the system. The fullback as well. We're not taking none of the mental errors. Y'all need to come in the training camp running full speed mentally, and then y'all let your physical take it. I'm not waiting on you if you get hurt. You get nicked up, that's possibly, if you can't practice, you can't go, you probably could lose your job. I need guys that's going to work and going to be out there from day one, from minicamp all the way, and I need you to focus in. If I get any delay in you or drag in you or no mental capacity in you or you get hurt, guess what? We're looking in another direction. And that's how I would be as a coach. That way you're going to be straight up and honest and saying your opportunity is what you make of it. We give you a pass for your rookie year, but you're no longer rookies no more. Nobody's a rookie on this. And this is year 2 of this offense. So I said, if you know, this guy knows Clay Adams, he knows about being a pass blocker, because the backup running back better be a damn good pass blocker. He passes the head coach running toughness test. Yes. Connor passes Schottenheimer's head coach running toughness trait. He passes that. And his salary is cheap. He only about $1 million. And he on a 1-year deal. That's great for the Cowboys. We ain't talking about getting no guy on a 2 or 3 year deal. That's their plan B. Now, yes, I don't think the Cardinals are going to hold on. If their running backs pan out, you don't keep a veteran running back when you got running back 1 and 2. Veteran running backs do not play number 3. If you're going to have a veteran running back, he's got to be out there. Second thing, if Marva and Davis and Blue want to stay on this team, I think what Schottenheimer was talking about wasn't about their running ability that made him upset. Listen to me, my people out there. Listen to me when I tell you this. When you're putting a football roster together, and you're talking about backup running backs, backup wide receivers, backup linebackers, backup tight ends, backup defensive backs, just playing the position of cornerback, of safety, backup safety, just playing the position of backup 3rd and 4th wide receiver, just playing wide receiver, just playing running back position for the 2nd and 3rd running back, just playing the tight end position for the 3rd and 2nd tight end is not good enough. If you're not a badass special team player, that costed you in your position. So what Shotdown was saying is Blue wasn't giving us nothing in special teams. And if you're not dedicated in special teams to run down on kicks and make tackles, to block, to do the things on special teams and be a football player, there ain't enough runs for you to be on the field. And if Williams is running the ball and you ain't no special team player, you're just sitting on the sideline drinking up our damn Gatorade. And I can get another guy to sit on the sideline and be a better special team player and do what you do for you to be on the field. That's what Schottenheimer is talking about when he talking about blue. Y'all looking at thinking about running back. But when you a backup tight end, you a backup wide receiver, you a backup running back. What we need to start finding out when we see these guys as backup, what else are they doing? Are they shining on special teams to help this team? Because if you got guys on a 50-man roster, if they not shining, if they're not the starters, if they're not shining on special teams, they're no damn good on this damn team. And you could get rid of them for some guys that could be just as okay as backups, but dominate on special teams. There's no prima donnas in a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. So I don't want no third, fourth wide receiver that still talking about, well, you know, he a bad guy, man. He can catch, man. He can do that. And then my action run down the kicks, he run down like a whippy. Won't even be physical at all. He act like he can't block on kickoff return. But he got y'all attention because he made a couple of catches in the practice, and y'all saying, "Oh man, he got that potential." I got two wide receivers that's dogs. He ain't gonna get no catches. So if he can't give me no doggone special teams, guess what? He might be cut. Y'all have to understand when you're putting the team together, the backup guys better be badass special team players. And the problem that Schottenheimer had was not about Blue running the ball. Y'all see how Blue ran the ball when he got a chance. He didn't care about Blue running the ball. He didn't see Blue focusing on the other things. So when you get a veteran running back here, if you get a Nick Chubb, guess what Nick Chubb ain't gonna do? Nick Chubb probably ain't played no special team in goddamn 10 years. If Williams is running the ball, and you say we give him a few carries, but Williams is running the ball the mostly, I understand when y'all talking about running back tandem. But guys that's a backup running back, they need to give you some other good plays. You got to think about 55 men, people. This is not a 100-man roster. It's not where you can go get 16 defensive ends and say we're going to keep everybody. Y'all talking about going to get 2 or 3 more defensive ends, like where you going to put them at? Then you got some guys that playing well, and then you're going to start cutting guys that's good. Everybody going to get through, what name? The stink, man, is more about work than names. I understand you somebody's names, but people had to make their names. So yes, that's their plan B, I believe. And then we got some comments that we said, injury prone, 30 years old, running back, huh? Yeah. I think if you want to say James Conner is injury prone, that's possibly. And let me go ahead and give this person a heart. He may be right here. 30-year-old running back, injury prone. We just want the guy for 1 year. One thing I know, he's going to go out and block. He's going to do all the dirty work. He has never been shy from doing dirty work. I bet you can play special teams, and you keep the workload down. This mean on me, you're going to cut another running back. But if it comes down, you're not getting that. Hey, some people say they love James Conner. That's a great comment. Now, somebody say here, I'd rather have Conner or Kamara. Now, there's the word that they might be waiting on Kamara. They may have word that's around that Kamara might not make it through training camp. Is not the point, because they might have word. See, there's some people sometimes they got word on some players. They may have word that Conner might not be, Kamara might be cut. Or they might be ready to let him go once training camp starts. But one thing about Kamara, is Kamara going to give you special teams help? Is Kamara going to be committed to doing Williams being the running back? Or is Kamara going to come here and our fan base is always going to say, take Kamara's name and automatically say he needs to be over top of Williams? That's what we're doing. I guarantee that. The less distractions on this team, the better off we are. And I will minus some talent to have less distractions. I know y'all don't understand that, but listen, sometimes you can be too talented where you can't control it. And it's a distraction. And distractions will destroy you. You want focus, get rid of distractions. You want distraction, get rid of focus. But love the comment though. If we going, oh, get Kamar. Kamar might cost you more. Trey Benson, yeah. Kamar may cost you more, but see, when people say Kamar, they looking for Kamar to be starter. That's all it is. They're not looking for a guy to be the number 2 running back. They want to be starter because it's a name base. And one thing about Kamar, I've already said he loves New Orleans, and I think he want to finish his career there. So I don't know how dedicated Kamar gonna be to you. I can tell you, James Carter gonna be dedicated wherever he go. I'm just saying. But great comment. Okay, guy from Arizona. Hey, but that was some of the comments I had that I had on there. There was another tweet, another thing I said, another comment I made, and I got a lot of questions, a lot of stuff about that. And let's go over that one. I said, listen, man. I put in here the Cowboy Nation because I kept hearing people talk about Caleb Downs being a slot corner. I hear people talking about slot corner. I think Vosh came out with a thing about. I didn't see the video, but he came out and said what video about what Caleb Downs is gonna fit in this offense. I already said with my blueprint long time ago what I said that this defense needed, and it's gonna be interchangeable safety. I think Foots said that too, but I said that as well. But listen, I said Cowboy Nation, let's get this straight. Caleb Downs is a safety, strong up free. Both of him and Thompson are interchangeable. Stronger free. That can be a slot corner back sometimes. Not where you're going to put him in the slot all the time. Because I've said this before. If he was a cornerback, he would have been playing cornerback. He's a safety that can play slot corner sometimes. He's not just a slot corner. He's his best superpowers. When I talk about talent, putting talent in the right spots, putting him to shine, it's both his versatility. It's his ability, right, to always be around the ball. If you watch the film when he was Alabama, you watch the film of Ohio State. He making tackles in the running game. He making defensive stops. Passing. Some people think being around the ball and making plays is about making turnovers. You know how many turnovers? If a team gets 40 turnovers in a year, let's say a team gets 40 turnovers in a year. Let's say a team get 50 turnovers in a year. They played about over 1,000 plays. They got 50 turnovers. So you cannot equate turnovers as making plays. Other plays to be made. There's more tackles and solid tackles, the tackles that stop first downs, tackles that for loss, tackles that makes a third and a second down, a third and long, a tackle that stops the guy from getting the first down. All those are plays, deflections of the ball, causing fumbles. All of those are plays. Caleb Downs' superpowers is what? His ability to always be around the ball and make plays. I don't know, and I can't say this about Caleb Downs. But I said this, and Boss Cowboy has said this about the great one, and I don't like to go through this, but I'm gonna go here. Some people gonna get on my case when I go here. Because I say I was never gonna go here again because this person don't play with our team no more. But Michael Parsons. We limited Michael Parsons. Our fan base limited to Michael Parsons. Mike Parsons is a very good player. Is he impactful as he should have been in Dallas? Don't give me this about pressures. Because if we look at pressures and how they're judged by PFF, we'll see that some of them are like, all right. But he should have had more quarterback hits. He should have had more sacks. And by far, he should have had more tackles. There's no reason for a Cosby or some defensive ends to have 100 tackles and a guy like Michael Parsons with the athletic ability that he has not to have 70, 80 tackles. 80 tackles, 90 tackles in a year. There's no excuse. He got the speed to run plays down. And the reason I'm saying that is, I'm not going to say it was on Michael Parsons. We as a team limited Michael Parsons because once he went on the defensive end, we said, oh, well, he should be just an edge rusher. And you can limit what an edge rusher do. But he still should have been running plays down from the backside on the run plays. DeMarcus Lawrence did. And he is nowhere close as fast. I would have wanted Michael Parsons in the middle of the field. Corey and me to talk about this. I talked about it. We did a show talking about this. I said, and I was the one to put out there, that Michael Parsons had the ability to be the first NFL player in NFL history, defensive history, for a player in 1 year to have over 130 some tackles, 15 or 16 sacks, and 3 or 4 interceptions in a year. Look it up, people. That has not been done by a defensive player in the history of the NFL in 1 year. And Michael Parsons, and check my record, I posted it on everybody's channel. Everybody can tell you that. And he could have been that player. But the only way he was going to be that player and the only way he was going to get those type of stats was he's a linebacker first that plays some defensive end. And we need him in a place where he's always going to be around the damn football, where he can impact more offensive plays. Putting him at defensive end does not impact the running game on the outside. It does not impact certain things. You throw a quick pass, it does not impact that. When you got your greatest player, you want to put him in spots where he impacts the game on more occasions. And this guy, with his ability, he was not a Myles Garrett. He had more ability than Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett couldn't play middle linebacker. If we would let him be a linebacker with defensive end capabilities on third downs, but brought him from the middle, brought him from the outside, brought him from the defensive end, put him in the middle of the field, he would affect the running game, he would affect the passing game. He would still got 17 sacks because he would have got 5 or 6 from missing up the middle. And he would have got 135 tackles, and with his speed, he would have got a couple of interceptions. This guy would have been historic numbers, and then you would have called him generational. But just rushing from the outside, that ain't generation. We see that all the damn time. And what I said about Caleb Williams, his superpowers is making plays around the ball and giving defense a mismatch problem when he does play slot corner. At times, he's a safety with good cover skills, a playmaker chess piece. That's what Caleb Downs is. So limiting him to slot corner, we doing the exact same thing we did to Michael Parsons. Because we got somebody to tell us, well, that's the key position, so always play him there. And some people say, yeah, some defense, some games, he's going to play something else. He's going to play this. But his chess piece, He's interchangeable with Thompson. They want their safety to be interchangeable, be aggressive, be what name. That's going to be their superpowers. Then we had a comment that said at the nickel. Now, DJ, I listen. I disagree with you. Hooker is not. I asked you this question. Tell me what plays you've seen Hooker make in the last 2 or 3 years. Any big hits, any run stopping things. How many passes he broke up down the field? Go watch the film. You see a guy that's coming up and watching fouls. We had a disarray in the secondary with Hooker on the field. There's no reason for a veteran safety for it to be disarrayed with the coverage. Never. I can tell you for point blank, if I got a veteran safety out there whose safeties do extra film work, the calls for the secondary come through the safety. When my secondary corners don't know where they at, or we have a blown coverage, the first doggone people I'm talking to is the damn safeties when they come off the field. And guess who I'm blaming? That's your job to get them straight. And we kept having that multiple times, over and over again. I'll tell you this. If Clark plays like I think he can play, if PJ Locke plays like I think he can play, you give him $5 million for a 1-year contract. Hooker, Downs and Thompson. There ain't no place for Hooker. And you're going to find out quickly. Let's Hooker going to rise himself up. But I don't think Hooker going to play physical enough to be that guy. Because the other guys we got bring fight. Well, I love the comment. And listen, he going to be on the field. He ain't trying to. You ain't got to play those other guys to find him. He can be the safety. And he can play the slot and the safety. When you got interchangeable cornerbacks that can play covers, got good cover skills, it makes your defense much more versatile. Here's the guy right here says he has like 3 career interceptions, so he considered that being a playmaker. And I explained to y'all what playmakers are. And we look for interceptions. Okay. This guy right here, thanks for the comment, but hey, man, I rock with these guys. Y'all may, hey, thank you for commenting, but that's right there trying to that right there trying to do a dig for some people, man, because you're upset. The comments is, hey, but I don't get into that. But thank you for the comment. Caleb to whoever, line them up and anywhere. These comments, man. Hey, man, listen, man. Listen. This because you can't deny their football knowledge. And if you're a Cowboy fan, right? Which I don't know, but if you're a Cowboy fan, we try to come to a consensus. We too busy beating up other Cowboy fans to say, hey, the team is the most important part. Caleb Williams is a weapon. You can line him up anywhere, and he would that's the game where and he's gonna be depending on what he does each week, and he's correct. Yes, he's a weapon, and you want to make sure you put weapons in their place, man. But these are the things I was talking about, man. And I had to go to the Michael Parsons thing because I would hate to see that happen to another great player of ours. That we start putting guys in a place because that's the what we say guys should be playing, and we start saying, some people talking about Cliff Waters, Yeah, Hollywood Henderson, man. Listen, man, we had our Michael Parsons. See that? What? See that? See that? I don't understand. I bet y'all don't even realize that Michael Parsons, Hollywood Henderson was Michael Parsons before Michael Parsons. He was a linebacker that could run a 10 flat 100, a 11 flat 100. He was on the kickoff team, running kicks back. Yeah, at 230, 225 pounds, 230 pounds. See what? Yeah, great athlete, dominant. Go look up Hollywood Henderson. And drugs, when it took him out, man, he's still living. And you know something, a fun fact about Hollywood Henderson? I bet y'all don't even know this. Hollywood Henderson got released by the Cowboys. Drugs took him over. He got strung out on drugs. And you know Hollywood Henderson won the Texas lottery? Look at God, man. No, listen, no one can stop God's will. And his will was for Hollywood Henderson to go through what he went through. And Hollywood Henderson turned out to be one of the greatest messages. This, you know, he won the lottery after he had turned his life around. And he started giving his message to other people and saving other people's lives. That's what I'm saying, man. And and listen, he didn't listen, Hollywood Henderson didn't like Tom Landry. Listen, Tom Landry was a Christian man. But players at Dallas back in those days, when all the stuff was going on with Dallas, with all the shows they got, Tom Landry was an asshole. Tom Landry didn't get along with a lot of people. But Tom Landry was respected. And what I told y'all about coaches, it's more important that you be trusted and respected by your players than liked or loved. Let me say that again. It's more important as a coach that you be respected and trusted than liked or loved. In relationships, it's more important that you be trusted and respected than liked or loved, because the trust and respect will build like and love. And it will build it in a way that it will not ever be broken. But you got people that like you and love you, but don't respect or trust you. And that's like building a house on sinking sand. And with coaches, you got people that call player coaches. They call coaches that we like this coach, we love this coach, but they don't respect them or they don't trust them. But they like them. And they say they love them. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty, they can't make them respond. They can't be real with them. They can't tell them the truth. The coach can't tell them the truth. They can't piss them off. Because once they piss them off, they be real with them, they turn on. But if they respect you and they trust you, they may not like what you say, but they're going to respect what you say, and they're going to trust if you don't do what they say, they're going to trust that you're going to take their ass out or get rid of them. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to respond. They ain't going to come back at you because they're going to trust that you're going to do what you say. And they're going to respect you because when you come at them, they may not don't like it, but they know that you ain't coming there with nothing but the truth that you feel. You might not like it. They didn't like Jimmy Johnson. Charles Haley didn't like Jimmy Johnson at first. It's documented that Troy Aikman couldn't stand Jimmy Johnson at first. But when they brought Jimmy Johnson to put in the Ring of Honor, every one of his players showed up. A lot of them had run-ins with Jimmy. But the respect and the trust of Jimmy, they trusted in him. He was doing what they needed to do to get to a championship. They respected him because they knew whatever he said, he was going to do. And that respect and trust turned into admiration and love and light, and they showed it when they put him in the ring of honor, how much they love him. Troy showed it, how much he cried when he got put in the Hall of Fame. Wasn't because they liked him and loved him all the time. They trusted him and respected him. So if Schottenheimer want to be a great coach, damn time with being a player's coach. You be a player's coach. Make sure they respect you and trust you. See, if you respect, if it's about respect and trust, you can go to Pickens and say, hey, I know it's a tough situation. I know it's a tough situation. You know what the situation is. They're not going to pay two receivers $30 million, $35, $40 million. They got to look at the whole team structure here. But we got to win a Super Bowl. The money's out there for you, if it's here or someplace else. But we got an opportunity here. And if they trust Shotty and they respect Shotty, he'll play. Shotty ain't got to give him no sad story. He got to be straight up with it. But he got to understand the Shotty and say, hey, I need 100% effort here for what your role is. And if I can't get that, we go in another direction. And if that's the case, guess what? Pickens will respect it. That's how you got to handle this. It's more important that your players trust and respect you than like a love. The like and love will come back. You give them to their maximum ability and you get them to their maximum playing ability and y'all get to the maximum of what y'all get as a team, they'll learn to love you. Even though you're an asshole. It's not about signing bonus. Again, it's not about the cap. They're not, listen here. And I told you I was going to do a show about that. I'm going to do a show about the perception of what the NFL wants to present. And I'm going to just say it briefly. The NFL comes up with this average per year thing. The NFL pushes that narrative. Right? And it may not be no salary cap hit now, but when you pay these big salaries, eventually it's going to come. It may not now, but you want to pay the piper sometime. And when you got two guys that's at a level, yeah, you making it diverted now, but the date of judgment day gonna come, and you gonna have two guys as well that's gonna have big salary hits, right? You can't avoid it. You can divert it for a little while, but it's coming. But the NFL wants to talk about they love for you to say average per year because average per year in the NFL is BS bullshit. Excuse my French. Take the guaranteed money times the year of the contract. And that's what you could figure that out is what they're getting average per year. And most times they ain't gonna get that over the spread of the contract. They gonna usually get their cash value, their guaranteed money probably in 1 or 2 years. Matter of fact, Michael Parsons getting most of his guaranteed money in the first year, the 2 years. That's why they said Michael Parsons gonna get $86 million in a year. That's why they say he's such one of the richest players. His agent told y'all. Did his agent get up there and tell y'all about the Michael Parsons contract? His agent told y'all after this, and y'all don't think, see, sometimes they tell y'all stuff and y'all so drawn in to making it sound so messed up, y'all ain't even be listening to people. The agent told you, said it wasn't about Jerry and the contract offer. It was about how they say they were going to pay the money out. He told y'all that. It wasn't about the Jerry and the contract offer. It was about how they say they were going to pay the money out. And he said this. He says more important about how the money is being paid out. And y'all should understand that Michael Parsons needed money. He needed cash money. He didn't need to wait a year or two for the money. He needed that signing bonus. He needed all his guarantee, a majority of his guaranteed money in the 2 years. So when they signed him a contract, they paid him $86 million of the guaranteed money. I think they only guaranteeing him what? Go look at his contract and see what the guarantee is. They paying him over 80% of the guaranteed money already. In 2 years. Some people ain't getting their guaranteed money. They spreading their guaranteed money over 3 or 4 years. He getting all his guaranteed money in probably 2 years. So, because his agent said he need the money. We want the money now. And that we could fix the contract, but we want the guaranteed money right now. So it's about structure. And then they spread that signing bonus over the length of the contract. But the NFL wants to talk about average per year. Why? Just tell you briefly, because I'm gonna come up with a show about it. Nobody in the NFL like to talk about average per year and try to make the NFL contracts look like they're a lot. Nobody in the NFL try to make it. They talk about average per year because they want to make you look like they want to say Michael Parsons the first $40-something million player. They want to say Dak Prescott the first $60 million player. Nobody in the NFL want to do that, so they can compete with basketball and baseball. Because when basketball say guys are $60-70 million players, damn right, that's what they are. Because it's fully guaranteed. There ain't no doubt about that. When baseball say a guy's a $70 million player, damn right, he's a $70 million player. There's no doubt about Ohtani deal for 10 years, $700 million. There ain't no doubt about it. He's gonna get $700 million. Now, how they pay it out, they may pay a lot more in the back end, they pay it out, but he's gonna get $700 million. Dak Prescott is not gonna get all the money on that contract. The only person quarterback that got a guaranteed contract is Deshaun Watson, but they just spread that off, but he's gonna get all his money. Kirk Cousins got a guaranteed contract a couple of years, but most of these guys, they get 70 to 80% guaranteed. The other 20%, and they give them an extension. And the only thing, and this here, when they give you an extension, they just guarantee the rest of the old contract, and then add on some more and guarantee it. So they ain't give you a whole lot of guaranteed money for new money. Some of that money is for the old contract they guarantee. But they want to say that so they won't look cheap. Yeah, their players want you to say that I'm making 50 million or 40 million. Yeah, they want to walk around with their chest out, say I'm 40 million. But the real players know, say, man, you ain't making that. You making what your guaranteed money is. Because after your guarantee, they ain't got to give you another dime. Now they got to carry the salary cap here, but they ain't got to pay you no damn money. But that's good prestige for the agent. That's good reputation for the agent. That's good reputation for the shield of the NFL. And that's to make the player walk around with his chest pumped out. But that's fake. When you see a guy take the length of the contract, the amount of guarantee, that, and divide that, that's what his real APR is. Average per year is. Now they might pay it out different, but if you do an average per year, that's what it is. But they might pay the guaranteed money out before. Michael Parsons getting $86 million in the year. I think it's guaranteed. What number? What? 140, something like that. 100, maybe. I don't think it was like, it might have been over 100. Might have been 100 million. He's getting most of his guaranteed money in 2 years, in a year. And that's what this agent said. If you ain't like a comment and subscribe and you in this show and you ain't shared, you get them telling you. Coach Marv is giving you information that no other way. We got history about the Cowboys that a lot of people ain't talking about. We talk about the DNA of the Cowboys that people act like they don't see it, but we seeing it. You know, got a history lesson about how you put teams together and how you got to think about 55-man rosters. You know, got information about when y'all looking at backup players, that y'all looking at backup players to play, but y'all need to be looking at how guys play on special teams. And if you got a backup wide receiver, he can't play no damn special teams. Hell no, I don't want this guy. Let his ass right. I need a guy that can make me some plays on special teams. Because that's where you're going to be playing most of the time. If you can't go out and make me no plays on special teams, you sitting on the sideline, you ain't going to get no opportunity to catch the ball anyway. Now with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens out there and Farnois, I need you out there blocking so our kick returner, who is an all-pro, can run some kicks back. I need you running down the kickoffs and punts so we can get better field position. Cause some turnovers on that. I don't need you getting penalties on special teams. If you can't play special teams, and that's what I think the problem with Blue was. And I don't know if Marv played special teams before. You got a lot of guys who come out of college and they're first round. I mean, they're number one and number two players in college, and they don't play special teams. And I think that's let me tell you something. Nick Saban didn't do this. Some of your better coaches, Kirby Smart, didn't do this either. I think it's a misjustice to your players if you let them come through your programs and you don't teach them how to be damn good special team players. Because when you go to the best of the best people and you're not a first round draft pick or you're not a top guy pick, you be an undrafted free agent or you a later draft pick, special teams where you're going to make your money. That's how you're going to get on the field. That's how you're going to start making a mark. That's how you're going to show how tough you are. That's not show how you're going to be, how much you're going to work. That's going to be your way you're going to contribute to the team in a big way. And if you come out of college and your coach ain't had you playing those special teams, you only playing offense and defense, and you're a third or fourth round draft pick, and then you get in the NFL and you ain't know how to run down the punts, you don't know how to block on a punt team, you don't know how to run down punts, you don't know how to run down kickoffs. He hurting you for making this the football team. It takes skills to play special teams. And if you ain't did it in college, when you go out here to pros and they moving like wide open, they the best of the best, they're hurting you. So if you got any of your y'all got any young people that's out here playing football, they're playing sports, and they come through high school, and they become they don't like playing special teams, you better tell them they better learn how to play special teams. Because that might get them a job in the NFL. Yes, being a position player, yes. But there's a lot of guys that start out playing great on special teams and start making their names by being wide receivers and players, but they made their name. They got their chance because they were dominant on special teams. Ask Flournoy. I bet Flournoy was a good damn special team player. That kept him on the Dallas Cowboys. They ain't no way in the world you're a third wide receiver. You got like you can't play special teams or fourth wide receiver. If you're a fourth wide receiver on Dallas, you better be a damn better kickoff runner, punt return guy, punt back. You better be able to do damn special team. You better be a damn better a veteran special team player. If you're not, you ain't gonna be on this team. That's just point blank. We ain't got listen. There's very little room for baggage and guys sitting behind guys, hoping to be a superstar with a 55-man roster. Hey man, Charlie Waters, man, was a great safety for the Cowboys. Hey, Miss Ginger, how you doing? Miss Ginger, hey people. Miss Ginger, this week, Miss Ginger, one of my my good friends, and love this lady, man. Her birthday is coming up this week, so when I do go on live again, man, we want to make sure we show Miss Ginger love. If she's around when we go live around her birthday, I'm gonna tell Miss Ginger to post her cash app in the chat. I'm gonna let her put her cash app in the chat. Y'all show us some love. Ain't about $1. So for her 21st birthday. Bills Bates, special team linebacker, middle linebacker on the special on one of the holdovers from the Tom Landry era. He had to work because it was hard for Bill Bates to make the team when Jimmy Johnson came in, because Bill Bates was an older player, but his tenacity on special teams. And then they found a role for Bill Bates. He was the nickel linebacker that came in the nickel. So he played linebacker in the nickel because of his aggressive style. He could blitz, he could hit, he was aggressive player, and he's smart player. And he was a dominant special team player. The first Super Bowl that they went to, Bill Bates blew out his knee and was out that year, and they won a Super Bowl. And he was heartbroken because he'd been in his whole career in Dallas, and he thought he was gonna be a chance for the Super Bowl. You know how hard Bill Bates had to work for a guy that was not the fastest guy, not the most athletic guy, to come back off a knee injury, to come back the next year and be able to play, and then not only play well and play at the nickel position, and to get back to a Super Bowl. You know how much that was for him to get back to a Super Bowl? That's the type of play we need, man. That's the type of dedication we need. Bill Bates was not a guy that was looking for accolades. This guy did it the right damn way. He's the type of lunch pail guys we need to get to number 6. Great post about Bill Bates. Yes, this is a problem. Maffa is a big running back, but he was a poor pass protector at Clemson. Now, I got something about Clemson players that running back to Clemson. Anyway, sometimes I question their toughness. But Maffa, when he was at Clemson, he wasn't a great pass protector. And if he not a great pass protector, let me tell you something. You can't be a backup running back. You can't block. You ain't gonna get enough carries. So again, he had all season. He's strong enough to work on this. If this was a problem, let me tell you something. There's no tolerance at the beginning of training camp for him missing blocks. If this is a problem already, and it continues to be a problem, we got to move fast. And guess what? If you move fast because you say, hey, you knew there's a problem. When you do, listen, I'm going to give y'all another little tidbit. Listen to me good. Every team has what we call exit interviews. So after the season go over, the coaching staff they already doing a summary. They already know the season's gonna be over. So during the season, they're writing down notes. They write down notes on every player. They write down notes, and they're doing a case study on every player. And when you do the exit interview, your coaching staff, they all get together. Your head coach, they get together. They do an exit interview with each one of the players. And in that exit interview, right, when you leave the season over, before you leave the Star to go on your break, because the season over, you have the exit interview. In that exit interview, they're gonna talk about the season. They're gonna talk to you. Gonna talk about upcoming stuff that you may have, surgeries that you may be talking about doing, that you gotta do, that you've been putting off. They're gonna talk about how the season kind of went, and they're gonna talk about the stuff that they think that you need to do better, that you need to focus on, that you need to be better at for the upcoming season if you come back to Dallas. They're gonna talk about people who on their last year contracts, people that they hadn't signed. They're gonna talk about that. They're gonna talk about we potentially want to try to sign you, but these are things we're gonna talk about people who's there that's under contract. They're gonna give you a blueprint, and they're gonna go more in depth with that blueprint about what you need to do, because they communicate with the players on the off season. But there's an exit interview. If Maffa had a problem with blocking, that and whatever he went on last year, in his exit interview, they talked about it. If you come back off of the exit interview and the stuff that we talked about, you come back during the season and during the off season when we talk about certain things, and you come back to training camp, and that stuff that we told you to work on is just as bad as when you left, cut your ass right off the bat. Now, if this is a first player, and we might have to deal with it. But if you're a backup guy, third, fourth running back, cut you. This is how you get the point across to the rest of your team that we're about business. And we're about raising the bar every year. And that's what the exit interview is, for you to raise the bar. And what we say the bar means, the great Chennis Barrett told me what the bar means. Bar means be about results. So if being about results, as we told you in your exit interview, and you come back and you the results, you ain't showing no results rise in the things we talked about, cut you and go get another guy. I'm going to get another guy that I got to work with than a guy I told to work on something and he ain't do it. That just point blank. Especially when you're on the bottom of the roster. You have no leeway with guys on the bottom of the roster. You find other guys to be on the bottom of the roster. So yes, Mappa, if that's his problem, he should be better at that now. Oh, he said, where I bought my decals? That's a fathead I got, man. I bought that from fathead.com. Fathead.com. That's a fathead there, and these all these ones came in the order of that fathead. Hey man, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, when I start, this fathead may say, hey, I can start getting some advertising for Fathead, and Fathead will give me some cheddar for giving them a shout out on my channel. But yes, if you want to get that decal, fathead.com, looking at it, and not only I ordered the one with the Dallas Cowboy guy, the right here, and I got the helmet and the star, and I got there's another one I ain't spin the camera around, but there's another that says Cowboy sign that they gave me too, that I put on my walls. This is the same thing I'm trying to do. Go into my studio. I got some other things I'm gonna hang on the walls when I go into my other little studio. I'm still trying to work on this electrical thing I got to go. So like I said, if you want to help the show out, anybody want to help the show out, because there's other things I want to try to do that I'm trying to do. One, I'm trying to get those t-shirts out. Trying to get those t-shirts printed. Defense is a weapon. Defense is a weapon, and it's our DNA. It's our DNA. Defense is a weapon in Dallas, and it's our DNA. But you can catch out the show at PBS 222. If you like, please do me some cash apps. Man, if I can get about $30, $40 more dollars in not cash apps, but into super chats, that would activate, my super chat thing with them. So if you want to sponsor the show, super chats with the little stickers, the payment stickers, you want to join the channel, man, all that's greatly appreciated. But that's my cash app. But yeah, fathead.com is where I got that. And I put down some other questions, other things that we talked about. People say we need a fullback. I like Lindsey. I like our fullback. I just don't think we gave him the opportunities we should have given him. I like him. I think we say we need a fullback. But I like our fullback. I posted the wrong one. But yeah, I think we need a fullback. I like our fullback. I just think we just don't give him opportunity. The reason why I don't think we give him the opportunities like we should, because we lean too much on Pickens and Lamb, because it's a groundswell to make. And listen, this is not dissing Dak by taking some pressure off of Dak. Let me understand this. Greatness doesn't mean that you add pressure to them and try to add too much to them. If you could take some pressure off of that, you make him greater. Patrick Mahomes is greater because you brought a defense. Now he's is magnified. I was talking to a friend of mine about basketball, and it's the same thing in basketball. Think about this. When the Bulls and Michael Jordan, the Bulls was a great defensive team. Nobody talks about the defense of the Bulls in their runs. Horace Grant was a great defensive player. Dennis Rodman was a great defense. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, their centers was a great team defense. They were a great defensive team. When you're a good defensive team and you got a guy like Michael Jordan on your team, when he scores 30 and you limiting other teams within 100 or they can't get wide open, Jordan 30 seems like 70. When he scored 50, they seem like he scored 80 points. But if you was a bad defensive team, his 30 doesn't seem as much because you giving up 130 points. He can score 50 and it don't seem like much because you giving up points like water. If we got a great defense, when the Cowboys in the 90s and the West name, they didn't have to score 35, 40 points. When they scored 24 points, they won by 13 points or 10 points, and it seemed like they were dominating the game. You make your offense more efficient. When you got a running game, now in a dominant running game, when you have Dak throw the ball 30 times, 33 times, and 3 touchdowns, that means he's throwing a touchdown for every 10 attempts. That's outstanding. But when he got to throw the ball 45 times for 2 touchdowns, that's inefficiency. When you got 2 great wide receivers, why? They knock out punches. Why throw jabs with them? They should be hitting 20-yard seams, 20-yard crosses, 14, 15 yards a pop. Control the game with the running game, score points in the passing game. Not control the game in the passing game. That's a very interesting point. We got to understand. So again, man, it's about getting back to our DNA. And if you have just checking in the show, go back to my first part of my show, man. I talked about you learned the lesson, man. If you haven't seen this show, you checking in this show late. Go back to the early part of the show. Subscribe to Coach Marv Real Talk. Go back on follow me on X at Coach Marv 1914. Go follow me on Coach Marv Real Talk. Go to my channel. Go to the Coach Marv watch list. Right, watch my videos. You need to go watch this video. I'm gonna post this video. I'm gonna put a footnote. I mean a thumbnail to this. Go back if you're just coming in. Go back to my earlier video and watch what I said about the DNA of teams. Learn something about the Cowboys and learn about what our DNA is. Stop listening and thinking about old school and stuff like that, but understand the history. See the similarities of the history and understand that if we fall in our light, we got a better chance by doing it with our DNA as an organization. The DNA of the organization being cheap has always been cheap. We just been flashy, but we always been cheap as an organization. We always had contract disputes. This ain't just happening. This is the Texas way. That's just, I mean, this ain't just Jerry. So remember that. Remember what I said about coaching. That's a tidbit in life. But remember what I said about tidbit. This is a tidbit in life. It's just not about a channel just talk about sports. You're gonna get some contrast from basketball, contrast from baseball, contrast from life. All that works in way. It's all relative. I say everything's relative. You're gonna hear cowboy talk, you gonna hear contrasts to everything. And when I say about a coach, when a coach, what's more important to the coach for the player? It's most important to your coach that your players trust and respect you. That's more important than like and love in your relationships in life. It's more important that people trust and respect you. Like and love will come later and will come with a better foundation and it will last forever. But if the like and love come first without the trust and respect, you're building a relationship on sinking sand. And it's the same thing in football. You build a coaching player relationship on sinking sand, and when it comes to the point when you have to be real with a player, when it comes to a point where you got to get it out of a player, when it comes to a point when you come in that point where we got to trust each other to get better, when we got to work hard to get better, we got to be honest with each other, we got to be gritty with each other, we got to work through it. You ain't gonna have that respect and trust, and you're gonna give up. They're gonna turn on you. They may not like you at first, but if they trust and respect that you're trying to get the best out of them, they may not like the way you come. So, and I want to say some head coaches and our coaches, all coaches got to have a little SOB in them. If y'all know what SOB is, look it up. You got to have some in it. You can be loved and liked, but you got to have a little SOB in you. That's important. I didn't think I was going to come on this wonderful day. I went out and voted today. Want to end my show and tell you that I went out and voted in the state of South Carolina, the primary. If you've been listening to news, you know that there's been a lot of redistricting talk, and I never understood, and I hate to be political, but I never understood when someone says we're redistricting so we can solidify that we're going to win all the time. This is what we do now. We do something based off so we can make sure that we can win. I never understand that, man. We didn't say we're doing that because this is going to be fair and we can get more inclusion. No, we said we do it so we can make the possibility of that we rule. Never understood that. And we so bold enough we can say that now. That's crazy. That's the part that's crazy. That people can actually say that now. But I went to state of South Carolina and voted. We're not redistricting this year. That may come. But one thing I can say, the party that wanted to redistrict, they were right. They actually said this in Congress in a session. This is what they said in the session. They said that if we do this redistricting, it may have an adverse of what we really want. We don't want them to vote. It may make them, no, he didn't say we didn't want them to vote. He said it might make the African American population or the Democrat population, which that's what we're talking about, vote more. And that's adverse to what we want. People actually can say, we're trying to let people vote less. That's why we're doing this. And we're scared to do this because that might make them want to participate. Listen, people. It's like I said about history. These same words were said a long time ago. Yeah, people might have been wearing different clothes. Might not have no cable TV, might not have no internet then. Some cars might be different. Might not be no color TV. Might be people's jobs are probably paying $2, $3 an hour. It might have been different times, but the concepts has already been used. And if you don't know history, you could fall for the same tricks. And I just talked about political situation. But like I said, life is relative. If you don't know your cowboy history, you could fall for the same tricks and the same talking points and find out, damn, they've been doing this stuff for years. And then if you find out what we do well to win, concentrate on that. And we'll get back to number 6. And like I said in this political thing, concentrate on what stopped those things that were said a long time ago. And we can defeat them now. Know your DNA, Dallas Cowboys. Know your history, people. You know your history, you can ward off a lot of things. I'll tell you 2 things I want to end with after this 2-hour show. And we said we're going to talk about a multitude of things. But history can either teach you some great lessons or it can hide stuff that will continue to happen to you over and over and over again. Either it can teach you great lessons or it can hide stuff, messed up stuff, that will continue to happen to you over and over again. So when people try to take history away, they're trying to hide stuff that can continue to happen to you over and over again. And if you know it, it can teach you a great lesson. And remember, God's will. There's nothing or no one can stop God's will. We believe it. First, it comes with hope. Then we add a little faith. Then we add some perseverance. Persevere through the tough. Then we have our breakthrough. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the people who have subscribed. Thank you for the people who have rocked with me. The people who came in on this thing at the end. Go back and watch this whole show. I know it's 2 hours. I know we're talking, but you're going to learn some good things, man. And hopefully you learn something you can take with you in your life. And hopefully you learn something you can take with you in your cowboy life. There's going to be some things I told you to go look up. Know your history. Until next time, hopefully you have a wonderful week and get into this next week and finish out this week. I went to a graduation today and a voting today. I feel really good. Now I'm going to go lay down and get me some shut-eye and get ready for the rest of this work week. Until next time, people. Peace.